guys. I'm recording this in my car on Sunday night because my carbon monoxide detector started going off. And I don't know why. This has never happened before. So it's weird that it's happening. And I called the fire department. And I believe that's them right now. So I gotta go. Okay, so I'm back. I called the fire department and these 3 very gentlemanly firefighters showed up. And they did detect carbon monoxide leak. It was leaking from my gas stove, which actually was happening when I first moved into that unit, and I didn't know. But I was smelling gas, and then they fixed it, or said that they fixed it, but turns out it's still been leaking, or I don't know, something caused it to start leaking again. In any case, in a way, it's quite alarming because I've been feeling super lightheaded, like I would pass out. Like multiple times just in my own apartment while doing yoga, or if I just stand up too fast, like I would be extremely lightheaded and would pass out. And I don't know, honestly, talking about it is making me furious right now, so I'm going to stop talking about it. But yeah, little things that's been going on with this unit. And I honestly just feel like I'm being pushed to leave this apartment. When I first moved in, I was in a very insecure place. I had been homeless for a full year at the time, and like homeless, but in a home, right? Like I can only recall really just 1 week where I didn't have anywhere to go and I had to stay at a hotel. But the rest of the time I was living in Airbnbs and I was staying with friends. But yeah, homeless nonetheless. So I was homeless for a full year. And then after I found this apartment, like when I was looking for an apartment at the time in LA, I was just like so pressured, feeling so much anxiety. And as soon as I found this place, I just took it. I was just like, okay, fine. And I took it really fast. And, I immediately regretted it after learning that my upstairs neighbor and my neighbor to my left was awful. But generally speaking, the apartment had all the things that I needed. Like it had a washer dryer like on site. It had, it had no carpet, which is great. I don't want carpet. Parking on site. And if I go out through the back door, there's this lovely neighborhood for me to walk every day. And that's how I get my exercise in. I just walk through the neighborhood for an hour and a half every day. And that's my cardio. And there are not a lot of places in Los Angeles where you can just walk like that through your neighborhood. I mean, I assure you, like even this back suburban area that I walk around, it's like I will still see a sketchy person every now and then, but it's very rare because that area is very residential and it is very quaint and quiet. So these were the benefits of living where I currently live. Also, it's very, very close to this bar where I would go and do stand-up on Sunday nights. I'm not doing it tonight because I don't feel like it, but like plenty of benefits, right? However, the unit is tiny, and I was just sensing this like with even more affirmation the other day. I was just like, oh, I'm bumping into everything. Like everything here is like making me bump in, and I feel tiny and caged. I was like, I've outgrown this unit because it is a studio space. It is tiny. And the other thing was I can't deal with the vibes of the neighbors there. They're just like, to me, they're unbearable. What I would do whenever I would have conflict with my neighbors is I would just like get in my car and drive away. But here's an interesting thing that's been going on. My remote to open and close the gate has been like not working. And since yesterday, it just completely stopped working. It's not a battery issue. It's not a technical issue. It's just the remote is now defunct. It's not working. So I had to reach out and ask my super for a new one, but he's like, I have to pay money for it. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, when I first moved in, you didn't ask me to pay for this, so why do I have to pay for a new one? It just everything sounded sketchy and awful and weird. And like, I'm getting closer and closer to a point where I'm hitting a wall, and I just want to like ditch this apartment and just like leave the country. That's genuinely and seriously like on my mind right now. I don't know if I should do it yet, but that is what's going on inside my head. So something I'm considering for this time being. Now, would that be the smartest thing? I don't know. Probably not. Right now I'm leaning towards no. I do need to stay in LA because the opportunities are here. And while the writers strike and SAG strike, like while everybody's protesting, and negotiations are happening, like I'm a non-union actor who is being called for auditions. Like I actually, I went on a bunch, and I'm just like really hesitant to leave LA right now when I have this momentum going. Because what I would like is to book something, of course. I mean, that's the point. That's the goal. But yeah, at the same time, it's like rent is going up, and I don't want to live in a shitty neighborhood. I'm done with that. I'm done doing that. Like, moving forward, I'm only going to live in neighborhoods where I feel proud to be in, where I'm like, I love living here, because like living in where I live in the Valley in Los Angeles, it's like LA is a very classist city. And when I tell them where I live, like a lot of people give me shit for living here. They'll be like, oh, that's far, or oh, that's a shitty place to live. Like I would get that feedback a lot, and I would just, it would really fuck with my self-esteem and self-image. But I choose not to identify with that anymore. That's just their issue. They're just parroting and repeating shit that they've heard from other people. It's like such a cliche to talk shit about the Valley and hate on the Valley. But you know what? Like the last 4 years I've been here, even though like it hasn't always been completely comfortable, all of my needs have been met here. Like I had a place to put my stuff, I had a place to keep my bed. I went through a lot of spiritual journeys while living in this unit. Okay. And I've gone through a lot of growth while living in this unit. I finished my doctorate degree while living in this unit. I wrote my book in this unit. So I've accomplished and achieved a lot in this quote unquote, whatever people, quote unquote, inconvenient place to live. Like it has not been inconvenient. It has been inconvenient at times, out of conflict, but I'm choosing to put all that stuff like behind me and just move forward and look for a really great place for me to put my body and my stuff. That's what I'm looking for. That's where I'm headed. And actually, I did find my dream location, like where I would love to live. And it's in Silver Lake. It's on this hill. That's where I intend to live. All right. Like that is now like firmly on the agenda. That is where I'm going to move to. So we'll see. Like, I don't know how that is going to happen. I don't know when, but I know it's soon. And it's just, to me, that's like a non-negotiable. It's like, it's gotta happen. Interestingly, this carbon monoxide detector went off while I was sitting in the bathtub. And I was like just soaking and thinking and trying to raise my mood, I suppose. Yeah, elevate my mood. That's what I was trying to do while sitting in the bathtub. And it's interesting how quickly that works. Like, I had been raging against my super and how petty and nitpicky and nickel and diming they've been. Like, they decided to raise the fee for charging us rent. As if charging us rent is not enough, they want to now charge additional fee for charging us rent. And that fee is now going up. So there's that. And then there's also the issue of like charging me for the remote, for the gate. Like things that I did not have to pay for before, they now want me to pay for. So because of these like irritants, and how like cheap they're being, I was feeling cheap as well, being like, well, this isn't right. Like, why am I suddenly, made to feel responsible for stuff that I feel like it is not my responsibility, right? But then as soon as I was sitting in the bathtub and trying to elevate my mood, I just decided like, you know what? Fuck these people. Let them charge me whatever they want. I don't care. I'll pay the fee and I'm going to get it back somehow, some way, somehow, And I was just like, whatever, it's fine. Like, I genuinely felt that. While I was sitting in the tub, I swear to God, I genuinely felt that. And then the carbon monoxide detector went off. And now I'm sitting in my car on the street parked, because the gate is not working. If the gate doesn't work, then my car is trapped. So I opened up the gate. I mean, I found an open gate, like it was already open on the left. So I drove my car through it, and then I'm parked out on the street right now so that I'm not locked in case I need to drive out tomorrow. And now that I'm sitting out here in this uncomfortable heat and in my car while listening to cars go by, my mood is shitty again. Yeah, and I'm feeling just as petty and annoyed. So, what is there to do other than just be like, remember the feeling of sitting in the bathtub. Remember the feeling of sitting in the cool water and being chilled out and not giving a shit. Feeling like all is well. Remember those vibes. And that's all I can do. That's all I can do for now. I have been watching Korean dramas. I am watching DP season 2. It is more or less the same thing. One thing I am sensing in DP season 2 is that the original protagonists, like the original actors, they're all a little bit more traumatized and have a little bit more open-heartedness simultaneously, which is fascinating, which is really fascinating. It's like this thing that happened to them, it has fully pushed them towards the heart center rather than the mind center. And so I do applaud the showrunner for making that choice. I applaud the actors for also making these choices where they emanate and emote more from the heart. And I'm into it. I dig all of it. I suppose, I'm not going to binge it. Like, I only watched the 2 episodes so far, and I'm not going to binge it. But what I do sense is that this is more or less the same thing. Unless there's going to be some, real radical revolutionary things that take place, I'm not sure how much more of this will hold my attention. Because it's like, okay, we know what this is about. We've seen all of it. So what else? Right? But we'll see. This is not an official coverage of DP season 2 because I have not seen the whole series. Once I watch the entire season 2 of DP, I will do an official coverage of it. But for now, I'm just, spitballing here as I am sitting in my car. Okay, I'm resuming my saga. So now I am in the hospital parking lot. I'm at the Valley Presbyterian Hospital parking lot, which has reserved parking for electric vehicles and for physicians. So those are the individuals who are prioritized for easy parking in this part of Los Angeles. People who are doctors and who are driving electric vehicles and therefore saving the environment. So you have to be saving somebody or something in order to earn parking privileges here at this parking lot. I am in the wrong fucking building. Hospitals are a nightmare because you don't know where anything ever is. It's a massive fucking place and nobody knows anything. I found a woman walking across a parking lot outside, and she's the one who told me that the emergency room is in a different building. And no, she does not work here. Just God bless her. She was so helpful. Because it's almost 10 o'clock. No, it's 9:22 and everything is closed and dark and security guards are asleep and nobody is fucking All right, enough complaining. I am now driving to the emergency room because I want to make sure that I don't have carbon monoxide exposure. And the way to do that is you check the blood. So they're going to draw blood and they're going to check and see if... Hold on, why does it say swipe card? What the fuck? It's less than 20 minutes, bitch. Oh my fuck, hold on. Okay, so I'm at the emergency room at the Valley Presbyterian Hospital, and I am checking in. I am just waiting for them to call me back there to draw blood or whatever. I did have to move my car to a different parking lot. I don't know what it is about getting to a hospital and finding difficulty with parking and dealing with the security and all of that. Like, these little things in between, something about it just irritates the bejesus out of me. It's actually a huge trigger because it's like I'm at an emergency room because there's an emergency, and here I am dealing with all this little nitpicky bullshit where the economy needs to economize even more from me, like parking fees and what have you. The whole neighborhood, there's no street parking here. No, you have to have a permit. Those are the only people who get to park on the streets here because it's a hospital and they know that the streets would be impacted with cars. In any case, it's a little annoying. But one thing I am noticing, though, is that I am feeling a little bit calmer. I am feeling a little bit more centered. I mean, all of this is like just as much an experiment for me, because I would normally never take myself to a hospital. I would normally never take myself to a doctor, even if I have suffered some tremendous calamity. I've been the type to avoid hospitals at all costs, but here I am at the hospital doing something differently. It was interesting noticing that when I was out on the street, when I was at the parking lot, like I got the ticket and then I put the ticket in to open the gate and it wouldn't open. Like there was something wrong with the machine, and it was happening simultaneously as I was bitching about the parking lot. So that's interesting, right? Like how quickly things are coming into formation right after I talk about it. The other issue is, like, what's interesting is I had been texting my super complaining about how the gate remote control is not working, and that's been a stressor for me. And right as I was dealing with this stress and then confronting it and managing it, that's when the carbon monoxide detector went off. If there is carbon monoxide in my blood, then I would have an option to sue my landlord. And that's like, do I go down that path or not? I don't know. It's an option. Yeah, I don't know. It's something I genuinely have to think about. Do I have to go down that path or not? Because this is a matter of like me standing up for myself versus like avoiding things and just being like passive aggressive and resentful and not confronting them versus actually doing something about it. Very, very big difference here, but I am trying to live my life differently. Like I said, I brought myself to the ER, something I wouldn't do, but here I am. So anyway, thanks for dealing with all of this noise and random interruptions and pauses and starting back up again and how scattered this whole thing is. But this is part of the journey. It is. This is where I'm at, okay? What I was really hoping for is to have had a bath and then done my makeup and then recorded my podcast episode. But no, these are coming apart by the seams because it is re-knitting itself into a whole new thing. So that's what I'm gonna do moving forward. I will probably stop filming videos. I'm probably just gonna record episodes just like off the cuff, flying by the seat of my pants and doing whatever I need to do, however I feel like doing, from wherever, including the Valley Presbyterian emergency room waiting area. So there that is. And if you're watching King the Land, yeah, look forward to next week's episode. I promise to discuss King the Land next week. I thought I was going to cover DP today. Was that the promise? DP season 2? No. There's no way I could binge watch anymore. Like I said, I watched only 2 episodes since the show dropped on Friday, and that's already a lot for me, honestly, at this juncture. So, take care of all of yourselves. Get a carbon monoxide detector if you don't have one. And if your landlord doesn't appreciate the fact that you pay rent every month and is leaving you with an inconvenient and inhospitable or unsafe environment for you to live in, then confront them about it. Stand up for yourself. That's your dwelling space. That's your shelter. It should be the safest place for you in the world. And if that place is not safe, despite you paying rent, oh my God, no. Not cool. Do everything you can to make it the safest place possible. That's my recommendation. All right. Thank you so much for coping with this all. And I was thinking of my listeners while I was taking my bath too. I was just thinking like, oh, I really appreciate my listeners so much. I actually have a really great bunch of listeners. I do appreciate all of you. So thank you. And I love you all. And I will see you all next week.